He's always worth a photo. You look good on the group start line. Yeah, get the fruits going. You look good on the start line photo set of the mate, so you can look good here as well. We'll give you 5 extra points in the championship. I think Brad is sticking around, mate.
It's all good. All right, we're going to do the presentation at lunchtime. Not a problem. Sorry about that, guys.
The FTS Yamaha Past Masters now underway, and it's Mark Haig who gets the best launch there on that bright orange and white and blue 110 machine, and it is Mark Haig who will lead them through. He took a 2nd and a 4th overall yesterday. 2 Clubman victories in class yesterday for the man who's taken the whole shot and leads the way in towards Druids. But no, it's Kev Woolley, bike number 51, who has taken the reins on this race now. So Kev Woolley, who took both of the victories yesterday on that twist grip spec machine through Graham Hill Bend, is Kev Woolley from Mark Haig. Then it's Alan Cooper ahead of David Ball, and then 5th position for the number 5 of Hayden Smith. And Peter, I can see that Hayden Smith, unfortunately yesterday, he did retire from the race. So don't suppose you've got any information on that one at all? Few fueling issues, it sounds like, unfortunately, for Hayden Smith there. But Hayden, of course, formerly in the 400 category, out at the moment inside the top 5, but a retirement from yesterday's 2nd race.
Yeah. He's on one of Doug Evanson's bikes, and unfortunately, I think there was some contamination in the tank. But they've got a different tank on it now. I think borrowed from Derek Cripps, whose bike blew a piston yesterday. So I'm expecting him to be a little bit further forward today, that's for sure.
So round Druids they go, and down on the plunge in towards Graham Hill Bend again. And it is Kev Woolley from Mark Haig. David Ball up into 3rd position on bike number 8. He's found a way through on Alan Cooper. Then it is Hayden Smith, Paul Whitby up next. Pete Branton. Good to see Pete Branton back in the class, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is, yeah. Actually, I think his son-in-law or something, his partner's son, Clinton, he's having a real look of interest into these bikes, so maybe we'll see him out on a number 19 bike next year.
That'll be good to see as they make their way around Clark Curve onto the front straight once again, coming up to the end of the first of the flying laps. This is lap number 2. He's the way over Mark Haig. David Ball is on the high line there, looking for a way through on Mark Haig for 2nd place, but no opportunity this time around. Then it's Alan Cooper in 4th position. Then Hayden Smith, Paul Whitby, then a bit of a gap back to Pete Branton, who's in a relatively lonely 7th position at this stage. Tom Ridley, Billy Perkins and Dennis Halil found a way through, and Paul Neild to put himself inside the top 10 at this stage. But David Ball is the quickest man on the circuit with a 53.85.
Yeah, I think David had some troubles with his bike yesterday. He was certainly going over it with a fine-tooth comb after the 2nd race yesterday. Yeah, but he's definitely all fired up and ready to go, that's for sure.
Colvin Turner ahead of Ian Davies and Mark Stubblefield further down the order there. That is for 16th, 17th and 18th position. Of course, Ian Davies and Mark Stubblefield fighting for 6th and 7th in the Clubmans. And it's good to see John Hamilton back out there on the circuit as well, because of course he had a bit of an incident at Alton Park back in April, but out there on the YPM, and also a CB 500 this weekend as well.
Yeah, he comes back, he goes large, so he's double classing. And normally he would be on Len's bike, but obviously Abigail's on that. So he's on the 2nd bike that Doug Evanson prepared within about 30 seconds of the race meeting starting. And he's on the actual Renter CB500 bike. So that looks like a nice little spec Tiger machine, well sorted out. So if anybody's interested in running a 500 after a YPM bike, then maybe give it a go.
I'm liking the colours of Abby Marshall as well, who's leading the way in the rookies at the moment, and that's the black and the yellow machine on Len Whalen's bike. Yeah,
that's right. She put it down the road a couple of times at Cadwell and felt slightly guilty, so she took the fairings away. I think they bought a new set and they got a quick spray job done on it, so it's definitely looking a bit more factory, let's say.
Full factory stuff for Abby Marshall. She leads the way in the rookies at the moment, but across the line overall it is Mark Haig and then David Ball, Alan Cooper, Paul Whitby, but it is Alan Cooper who sets the quickest lap of the race of a 53.123, but yesterday we saw him down into the 52s. It was a 52.9 for Kev Woolley. He wasn't hanging about.
No, like I was saying earlier, Kev Woolley is an absolute class rider, and jumping on that MZ yesterday as well, and getting a race win, and just listening to him talk, and when he goes through the motions in the paddock about what's going on out track, it really is insightful.
Looks like a good fight here between Tom Ridley and Dennis Halil as well, the number 4 on the yellow machine, and then the white number 166. That is a fight for 8th position overall. Of course, Tom Ridley in the Clubmans, Dennis Halil is not, but still, it's a bike in front of you. You want to get in front. It's as simple as that.
That's right indeed. Just looking at, so Kev's just come across the line with Mark Hay still holding 2nd place. David Ball's looking for a cheeky move under, but he can't quite make it stick. the Mark Haig held his line around the outside and is heading up into Druids, still ahead of David Ball.
Paddock Hill seems like one of them corners that's quite deceptive there. Looks like you get the inside line all the way into the apex, and all of a sudden the outside line just works in, to their advantage. And we're getting into the thick of things now with some of the tail enders as Kev Woolley punches away past two of them. He'll get a third very, very shortly. Next up will be Mark Haig, who goes in between them, as does David Ball. And that will be Alan Cooper going to the left-hand side. That is on the inside of the circuit on the run towards Surtees. There is Paul Whitby as well, and Hayden Smith. So Paul Whitby and Hayden Smith, only a tenth of a second separating them on that previous lap. Both going personal best with a 53.46 for Paul and a 53.498 for Hayden. But round clearways onto Clark Curve once again. Kev Woolley takes a look over his left shoulder, and there'll be around about a 1.5 to 2 second gap. But side by side across the line, Mark Haig and David Ball into Paddock Hill Bend. Only 0.06 of a second between Mark Haig and David Ball. And it's great to see Mark Haig really coming into his own now, because of course he was in the Blue Haze previously and then went on to the did he go on to the Rent a Racer, Mark Haig, or just go straight into the YPMs?
Yeah, he did the Rent a Racer at Cadwell Park last year in the actual Bemsee meet, not the revival. So he jumped on it then, and he then bought a bike off Jeff Mook, and yeah, he's not looked back. He's absolutely loving it.
Of course, not only have you got yourself in the commentary box as well, we've also got Rick Ballerini, a former champion in the club and a former Milano Trophy winner as well. So two YPM experts. I feel like the rose between two thorns.
That's about right.
Yeah, 100%.
So Rick, in this, we are coming up to 7 laps complete in this race. So we've got 5 laps to go. What have you spotted so far?
Well, this is looking really good because Mark Haig he's desperately hanging on to Kev Woolley here. He keeps losing a bit, gaining a bit, losing a bit, gaining a bit. The back markers have actually kind of not made any difference. They did make a difference, and then obviously Kev got a bit slowed as well. So they're back to where they were before, basically.
And it's one of them things that either work for you or against you.
Absolutely.
I mean, in your time there, of course, I'm sure you've encountered many back markers, and it very much is a bit of a gamble,
it's all
isn't
part
it?
of the race. It's all part of the race, and it's about timing that. It's when you're up, where you find them, and you can get around them.
That's absolutely it, but at the moment Kev Woolley has a little bit of clear track until the next tail ender comes into view. In fact, when he comes around to complete lap number 8, there will be 4 laps to go, but it is a 0.8 of a second advantage at the start of this lap for Kev Woolley over Mark Haig. But Mark Haig has got David Ball and Alan Cooper all over that rear tyre.
And Mark Haig set the fastest lap on the last lap, so he's still definitely trying to take this win off of Kev Woolley.
Certainly is. There is Alan Cooper as well, 52.9. That's a personal best lap of the race for Alan Cooper, in 4th position overall, 3rd in class, because of course Mark Haig, who is 2nd on the track, he leads the way in the Clubman's as they go round Druids then on this 8th lap. So down from Druids in towards Graham Hill Bend, and Mark Haig so good on the brakes there, no opportunity for David Ball or Alan Cooper to make a move. Bit of a gap back to Paul Whitby and Hayden Smith, but they're having a personal fight for 5th position. Yeah,
David Ball did gain a bit up at Druids, but Mark Haig took it all back and some extra on the way down into Graham Hill.
So Pete, yesterday we saw you out there in the 25-year anniversary colours and in the old leathers as well. Did it feel like it was back to 2000?
In some respects it did. I think actually the zip on the leathers gave up this morning, so I don't think it would have worked today too well. But yeah,
Just clarify, that's not because he's got fatter.
No, it was.
He hasn't got fatter.
It was good. It was just nice to be able to go and do that and have a small, it was an internal reflection on myself. That was all it was all about. So no, it was good. I enjoyed it. I had fun. But definitely the leathers I wore in the second race, which are my RSTs, they were much more comfortable.
Surprising.
Yeah. Yeah.
Down from Druids into Graham Hill Bend once again. So we are 9 laps into this one, 2.5 to go through Graham Hill Bend. Kev Woolley has the advantage over Mark Haig, and David Ball and Alan Cooper seemingly at the moment just can't quite find that opportunity to put their machine in front of Mark Haig. Hayden Smith is looking revitalised at the moment, looking for a long way round on Paul Whitby through the flip-flop of Surtees on towards McLaren, has the inside line as they go in towards Clearways. That was set up nicely throughout those corners from Hayden Smith.
Yeah, great move there by Hayden.
He's got the advantage now. He is up into 5th position. Paul Whitby, of course, I was having a look throughout the points before this meeting. Paul Whitby scored his first points at Pembrey in 2012 and got his first win at the previous meeting, so he's been going at it for a few years.
Yeah, Paul's a seasoned campaigner, shall we say.
Yeah, I think he was saying it was 2011 or 2000. Yeah, I think 2011. He's in his 12th or 13th year. But yeah, it's amazing when you see the journey of the riders, the ones that stick at it and keep going, and what you can actually achieve if you do, keep running and keep racing these bikes.
Dave Ball has actually used the back markers, and he has now got 2nd, and he's pretty clear of Mark Haig as well.
He is, yeah, really worked in his favour there, didn't he? Kev Woolley is out in front at the moment. We're coming around clearways onto Clark Curve once again for what will be the penultimate time, because the last lap flag is now being readied for these guys. The DFDS Yamaha Past Masters. We are on to the final lap. Kev Woolley at 52.925 on that previous lap. This time around, 52.936. That is ridiculously consistent from your race leader.
Yeah. Well, that's the class of that, man.
Certainly is. David Ball, 1.2 seconds adrift. He's got 1.6 seconds over Mark Haig. So the tail end is working in favour of David Ball, but of course Mark Haig still leads the way in the Clubmans, and he's got 1.8 seconds over Hayden Smith, and more importantly, Alan Cooper is in between them.
Yeah, and you can see on that last lap, Mark Haig did a 54.7 and his fastest lap was 52.5, so clearly had an issue on that lap.
Yeah, he did get a lot of back marker trouble up at Druids. I saw that.
Round on to clearways, what will be the final time. Kev Woolley has got plenty of gap between himself and David Ball. So round on to Clark Curve, then up through the gearbox, and it will be race win number 3 of the weekend from the 3 races for Kev Woolley on bike number 51. Side by side between Alan Cooper and Mark Haig, and Mark Haig just loses out on the overall top 3. So Alan Cooper just using the momentum and the drive from that machine. He puts himself into 3rd position overall on bike number 30. So Kev Woolley ahead of David Ball and Alan Cooper. Then in the Clubmans, it's Mark Haig from Hayden Smith, P5 for bike number 5, Hayden Smith. Paul Whitby in 6th position overall. That's 4th in class ahead of Pete Branton, who's it's good to see Pete Branton back in the paddock. And
absolutely. Yeah. If you notice the top 6 now, they're all in the 52s. You know, so this bodes well for the final race. If they can get away with Kev Woolley in the final race, this could be a cracker.
52s, I mean, it's a quick lap time around this Brands Hatch Indy circuit, regardless of what bike you're on, but to be doing it on these TZR 250s, which are, what, 30-something years old, 35?
1986 they came out.
Oh, there you go, so 40 years next year. 40 years next year, so...
and we should mention the club bike again. If anyone's listening, anyone thinks they can go quick on their GX 1000, they want to try one of these, they can come and have a go. 500 quid about that, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe a little bit more than that, but yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but you'll still